So this class is dedicated for the honor of Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria Ashkenazi, that even though I see myself that I'm, Baruch Hashem, got the privilege to be connected to many tzaddikim in the previous generations, but from all of those different tzaddikim, the Arizal is in a certain way is my rabbi. I see the Arizal is my rabbi. I hope that I will have the privilege to be a real student. But anyhow, I would like to be in Sfat in his tomb, but I said maybe to do this class in his memory and to tell the world the stories about him and the greatness that I see within the Arizal, maybe it is more important. Anyhow, B'ezrat Hashem, with the merit of this class, all the people that are participating and all the people that are helping in different ways to the different projects that I'm involved with, that everything is getting the nourishment from the Torah of the Arizal in different ways. B'ezrat Hashem, everybody will have the salvations that they need, health-wise, and whoever needs to get married, whoever needs to have shalom bayit, children to have good children, and so on and so forth. Everybody, whatever they need in the different levels, spiritual, emotional, and physical. But B'ezrat Hashem, everybody will have their blessings. So let's start to speak a little bit about the Arizal. Okay, so I'm starting with the history of the Arizal. I'm assuming that some people know about it, but it's good to go over it to make like some kind of a equal position for everybody that are listening. So we know that the Arizal was born in Yerushalayim, and when he was born, so Eliyahu HaNavi came to his father that he was very righteous, and obviously also his mother was a righteous woman. And Eliyahu HaNavi told his father, "Be careful in the day of the Brit Milah of your child, not to do the Brit Milah and see until you will see me standing next to you in the Beth Knesset." And time came for the Brit Milah, and everybody were there in the Beth Knesset waiting, and the father was looking here and there, and he didn't see Eliyahu HaNavi. And the father was trying to make all kinds of delays, and people got starting to wonder, like, what's the delays is about. And they started to tell him, like, look, we're waiting here. We need to do the Brit Milah. But he didn't listen to them, and he waited. And he came, and then after a while, Eliyahu HaNavi came, and he told the father, "You have to sit on the chair. You have to be the Sandak." And he sat, and he was holding the child, and Eliyahu HaNavi was coming and sitting with the father, on the father. So he was also the Sandak, and he was holding the baby, the Arizal. And no one saw Eliyahu HaNavi besides the father of the Arizal. But Eliyahu HaNavi was really the Sandak of the Arizal. And that was the beginning of the life of the Arizal. Obviously, really it starts before that. It starts in the Neshama of the Arizal, but that's another portion. Maybe I will speak about the Neshama of the Arizal afterwards close to the end of the shiur. Anyhow, the father of the Arizal passed away when he was very young, and because his mother was not able to sustain him and herself, she went down to Egypt to the house of her brother. That he was rich man that was living there, and he was supporting his sister and the Arizal, and he gave the Arizal the possibility to learn, and he sent him to Yeshivat. There was a lot of Torah there in Egypt in those times. And when he was 15 years old, he was already like much stronger than all of the rabbis there that were in Egypt. And he got married with the daughter of his uncle. After after a few years, so he got connected with Rav Bezalel Ashkenazi, that is the author of the Shita HaMekubalim, which is a commentary of all of the Shas. And he was learning with Rav Bezalel Ashkenazi for 7 years. And then he had 6 years of isolating himself, and he was making all kinds of ways of sanctifying himself with fasts and meditations and so on. And another 7 years afterwards, that he was in his house with no one else there, that it was like on the side of the Nile River. And just for Shabbat, he was going to the house where his wife was, and but besides that, no one was there. And okay, there was he needed time to sanctify himself. And he says that in those days he was actually, even though physically he was by himself, but actually in his spiritual being, in his neshama, he was already able to elevate his neshama to all of the places, all of the batei midrash of the heavens. And he was able to go to learn the yeshiva of the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the yeshiva of Rabbi Akiva, all of the yeshivot of all of the prophets, all of the big Tanaim. It says that there was Rabbi that his name was Rav Avraham Levi, that he was helping Rav Moshe Cordovero. And after Rav Moshe Cordovero passed away, he was also helping and serving the Arizal. And he said that one time in the Shabbat of Parashat Balak, he came to him and Arizal was sleeping. And when he woke up, so the Rav Avraham Levi, he told him what's when he was like speaking when he was asleep. So Rav Avraham Levi was trying to listen what he's saying, and then he woke up and he saw Rav Avraham Levi like with his head very close to him. He said like, why you like trying to hear what I'm saying when I'm asleep? He told me, please forgive me. I wanted to hear. Maybe you're saying Dvar Torah. I wanted to see if I can understand something. So the Arizal told him, always, when I'm asleep, my soul is going up to the heavens to certain paths that are known to me, and angels that are coming to me and accepting my soul and bring my soul in front of Matat, which is one of the big ministers of the heavens. And he's asking me which yeshiva I want to go within the different yeshivot of heavens. And in those yeshivot, they giving me all kinds of secrets of the Torah, things that people don't know, people that no one can understand. Even in times of Tanaim, it was very, very high Torah. And Rav Avraham Levi was telling the Arizal, please, tell me, what did you learn this time? So the Arizal was laughing a little bit, and he said, I will take as witnesses the heaven and earth on what I'm going to tell you. That even if I would try to explain for 8 years what I was learning now, it would not be enough, because every time I'm going to the heavens, I'm learning so much. To bring it to words of this world, it will take many, many years. So we see that the way of the learning of the Arizal is something that we cannot really understand. We can get definitely inspired by that, but it's not something that someone can say that is arguing with the Arizal, for example. And there's no arguments. No one can argue with the Torah like that. If you accept it, you accept it. If somebody is fool enough not to accept it, so it's his choice, but there's no place for argument. And he says that another story that happened when he was in Tzfat already, the Arizal. So they came to him, students came to him, and they told the Arizal, please maybe write a book of your Torah. You're saying such a nice divrei Torah. Write something that that we will have, something left after you will pass away. So the Arizal said, if all of the oceans will be ink, and all of the canes will be for writing, and all of the heavens will be scrolls, it will not be enough to write my wisdom. Mi badelet 3, 4, 5. Baruch haba. So the Arizal said, every time I'm starting to reveal secrets to you, it starts like a flow of a river. Okay. How do I do that? That there's no need for. Okay. So basically, the Arizal told him, every time I'm starting to give a Dvar Torah, I feel the spring of the wisdom that opens up and it flows, and I have to hold very strong against the flow of the river of the wisdom, that I will be able to make some kind of an opening. Toda Rabba. And that I will be able to make some kind of an opening that that the people that are coming to learn from me will not get overwhelmed. Otherwise, the people might lose their life because they are receiving too much. In the time of the Matan Torah, for example, when Am Yisrael was standing in Har Sinai, so it says that the soul left because they received too much abundance in one shot. So the Arizal explained that for him to give over Dvar Torah, he needs to find a way to limit the abundance, that it will be very, very narrow kind of a pipe that brings down the abundance in a measured way, that people will not get too overwhelmed, and they won't lose everything. And he gives the example like a child like a baby that is getting breastfed. So it must be very, very limited. Otherwise, he won't be able to drink. So he told the students, you can write whatever you understand, and you will have the memory of whatever you write. So there was many people that recognized the greatness of the Arizal in Tzfat, and they wanted to learn by him. But the Arizal said, I came not only to Tzfat, I came to this world to teach only Rabbi Chaim Vital. This is my student. I came to teach him, and he will teach the rest of the world. And that was what the Arizal wanted to do. He wanted just to teach the Rabbi Chaim Vital without having any other people coming. But people came, and he was not rude to push them out. And actually, Rabbi Chaim Vital himself, he brought them, even though the Arizal told Rabbi Chaim Vital, please don't bring people because it's making damage. It's not the right way. I need to teach you. But the Maruch didn't listen. He said, no, I want that everybody will have the merit to hear you. And okay, we'll wait with the end of the story, but that's coming to the end of the life of the Arizal, what I'm saying now. But the point of the matter is that the Arizal had the very, very clear message that Rav Chaim Vital is the one that's supposed to write and to learn from him. And he said about Rabbi Chaim Vital that he's the neshama of Rabbi Akiva, and okay, there's a lot of length about the neshama of Rabbi Chaim Vital, but right now we are speaking about the Arizal, not about Rabbi Chaim Vital, but really they are connected in a certain way. Okay, I will say it in a certain way. We have certain hints that the Arizal said that he was Mashiach ben Yosef and the potential of Mashiach ben Yosef, and Rabbi Chaim Vital was the potential of Mashiach ben David. Okay, for different reasons, we didn't get the privilege that it will come into the reality, but the potential was there. Anyhow, the Arizal told all the time to Rabbi Chaim Vital, I'm going to teach you, and you will bring the light to all of Am Israel. And he told him, whatever you will ask me, I will answer you. The Arizal he had such a certainty in his connection with Hashem that he was able to promise the Rabbi Chaim Vital, whatever you will ask me, I will give you an answer. But you need to be with me. You cannot be like you have to be stable with me. And that's in a certain way. We're coming now to the another part of the class about the neshama of the Arizal, that we see that quality by Moshe Rabbeinu, right? It says that Moshe Rabbeinu, he had this certainty that he was able to bring answers for whatever questions that will come to him. We see that in the daughters of Tzlofchad that came to Moshe Rabbeinu, and they asked him like something, and he said, like, wait, and I will see what Hashem tells me. So the sages in they say that like happy should be a man that is so certain in his connection to Hashem that he can say, I will ask and I will get an answer. He had this certainty that there was no doubt by him that he will get this answer. So we see that quality by Moshe Rabbeinu, we see that quality by the Arizal, and there's also others. Okay, there's also others. In the beginning of the HaChaim of the Arizal, which is the main book of the Torah of the Arizal, so Rabbi Chaim Vital writes that all of the people that in all of the generations that they had this special connection to Hashem, it is really the same neshama. It is not different neshama one and another. All of them had the same neshama. Okay, the neshama of the Arizal is the same neshama of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, is the same neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. This is neshama that comes within every generation. Okay, and there's an article in the Zohar that it says, so it speaks about neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu, and it says it pashtute bechol dara v'dara, that it expands into every generation. Okay, so this is also the understanding of the what I said before. The Arizal had the potential of being Mashiach, right? Because it is the same neshama. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu he had this quality of bring the salvation to Am Israel, bring the Geula, and this is something that happens within every appearance of this neshama, that the potential of the redemption is there with this neshama. So it is a little bit, not a little bit, it is very sensitive point for known reasons that unfortunately in the history of Am Israel there was many people that they had all kinds of confusions with this point. But
Rabbi, I have a question. I think it's something. My question you bring when you say that this neshama is brought down to every generation, but to every cause and effect, there must be two parts, correct? There must be two polarized energies, a positive and a negative charge, to create an effect. This neshama can be brought down from every generation, but it is one component of the major component that also is needing the other part. Maybe in my thinking, maybe of course this neshama is brought down in every generation, which is always consistent, but the other component that might be lacking is the other part, is where the Am Israel must do their part to connect to this neshama, to create this geula, this energy, this reaction, this wave.
I understand what you want to say. Okay, obviously, when Am Israel needs to be in a position of bringing this potential and make that potential to be action.
The shuvah is the beginning of the key.
The shuvah is definitely a very, very big, important component. I'm not sure if this is the only condition. I think that is.
I don't think it's the only, but I think it's part of the condition.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, the point is that the Arizal, it's not without a reason that he had this amazing ability to connect to all of the sages of all of generations, right? And it speaks about it also in the beginning of that HaChaim, that also we see the same quality also by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that he was able to connect with all of the neshamot of all of the generations. And we have many, many souls of different rabbis that took part within the writing of the Zohar, even though they were not there with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, they were in different generations. So the same thing is also the Torah of the Arizal. All of the revelations of the Arizal, it came through the Arizal to Rabbi Chaim Vital, but it's not only from the Arizal, it's from all of those great neshamot that were in the past and in the future with part of the Torah of Am Yisrael. And when there is neshama like that is connecting to them, so they want to bring more Torah, they want to bring more flow of abundance and reveal more for Am Yisrael. And also by Moshe Rabbeinu, by the way, we have Midrash that speaks about Moshe Rabbeinu, that he was able to see all of the generations of the future generations comes after him, right? Also about the Adam Rishon, it says that he was able to see all of the generations. So we see that when there is a neshama it's called neshama kolelet, neshama that includes within it all of the neshamot of all of the generations. So neshama like that can connect and see and communicate and reveal parts of Torah from all of the souls of all of the righteous people of all of the generations of Am Yisrael.
If I may, you gave me a thought. Listen.
But
the thought came.
Right now we are in the middle of a class, so maybe in the end of a class you will share with us the thought, okay? Wait and then we'll discuss different thoughts, okay? No problem. So the Arizal, he told the Rabbi Chaim Vital, don't bring other people. Rabbi Chaim Vital didn't listen, and he brought every time more and more people. And it became to be the house of the Arizal was getting to be full of people all the time. That they didn't give him the time that he needed to do his own work, to do his meditations and he was warning Rabbi Chaim Vital. He was telling him, if you will continue to do that, like something not so good will happen. And Rabbi Chaim Vital didn't listen. And after a while, the Arizal got sick, and then he passed away in this date of Av. And then after he passed away, then Rabbi Chaim Vital understood more of what it was all about. And he said about himself that he was a Hasid Shoteh. Hasid Shoteh, it means like a full righteous. So it's a big concept that we have to know that there is a certain danger of being to be righteous in a foolish way. Let's put it this way. Okay. So that was the case that the Rabbi Chaim Vital said about himself, even though we cannot say anything about Rabbi Chaim Vital because he was one of the greatest tzaddikim as well. but he said it on himself. So, so what happened there? When the Arizal was about to pass away, there was a few students there. The Malchu was not there. The Rabbi Chaim Vital was not there. And they told him, like, what's going to be, Rabbi, if you're going to pass away? So what, like, who will continue your way? Who will bring more revelations like that to reveal the Torah that you started? So the Arizal told them a few things. Told them, first of all, you have to listen to Rabbi Chaim Vital. Whatever he will tell you, you have to do, because he is my main student. I came here for him, and let him lead the group of the students that gathered around. That was one point that he said. Another point that he told them is that I have to leave the world now. If you'll have a merit, I will come back for another lifetime, and I will teach you again. Okay? So when did it happen? So those that are following the way of the Rashash, I learned 10 years in Yeshivat Betel. So in Yeshivat Betel, that's what they say. It's a Yeshivat that was founded by the Rashash. They said that the Rashash was another revelation of the Neshama of the Arizal, of the same Neshama. And he continued those revelations that the Arizal started. And there is many proofs for that, but we'll leave it for the Yotzert of the Rashash maybe to speak about it. Anyhow, what happened there in Tzfat after the Arizal passed away? So it says that Rabbi Chaim Vital, he told all the other students, you have to bring me all the writings that you wrote, the Torah of the Arizal. No one have the permission to learn in that. Now the Arizal passed away. Bring me everything. Everything have to be kept by me. No one have the permission to deal with it. So for whatever reason, everybody listened, Baruch Hashem, I guess, and everybody left it by him. And he wanted to bury it. He wanted to bury that. And there was a whole story that he got sick. And when he got sick, he was like not conscious. And then those students, the other students, they saw that they understood that he's about to get rid of all of the writings. And they had like very limited time before he's waking up from his sickness. So they took like 100 writers, and they didn't have like a way of taking photos, right? So they took like 100 writers, and they, like each one of them like took few pages, and they wrote quickly. They copied all of their writings that Rabbi Chaim Vital had. That it was many pages, all of the writings of the Arizal that we have. And then after they finished, they put it back in the chest. So then Rabbi Chaim Vital woke up. So obviously the sickness was from Hashem, because Hashem wanted those writings to be revealed. And after Rabbi Chaim Vital passed away, so those writings, that is the teachings of the Arizal, came to the son of Rabbi Chaim Vital, Rav Shmuel Vital, that he went over them and made some commentaries and put it in order, and so on and so forth. Every generation. Then afterwards there was Rabbi Yaakov Tzemach, who continued the work. And basically the writings that we have today, that is there's many books. Yeah, it's like 15 volumes. In this set that they have here is like they made it in nice print. Today is more prints. Whatever. Point is, it is a lot of Torah. The Chida, that is one of the big rabbis, big HaMekubalim that Am Yisrael had as well, he wrote in his book, he have a book that is called Shem HaGdolim, that he writes about major rabbis that Am Yisrael had. So he writes there that it's a clearly a miracle, a revealed miracle. How did the Arizal reveal such an amazing amount of Torah in such a small time period? That the time that he was with Rabbi Chaim Vital was less than 2 years. It was like a year and a half, something like that. Less than 2 years. And within this time frame, he was able somehow from Hashem, not somehow, Hashem gave him this ability to give over so much Torah. You know, the writings of the Arizal today, someone just want to read through the writings of the Arizal, not talking about like getting in depth and understanding what's there, just to read the text, it will take about the same amount of time, about 2 years, when he's just reading without understanding, just for hours every day. Will take about like somebody told me that it's 4 times the amount of text there is within all of the Shas, all of the Gemara. I didn't do the exact calculation, but somebody that he went through the Shas, he went through the writings of the Arizal, so he told me that that was his estimation. Anyhow, the point of the matter is that we need to know that the Arizal was one of the greatest neshamot that was revealed in this world, and it is part of a very, very big system of neshamot that are constantly coming to the world. And for that purpose, for that reason, we can understand how come is it that for many, many other big righteous rabbis, their Torah, even though it is very, very good, but many times there is a lot of arguments around it. Right? I don't want to go into names, but I'm sure that you know about many, many big rabbis that they had very, very important books that they wrote, but there was all the time, until today, there's still arguments about them. If it's good to learn it, it's not good to learn it, how much to learn it, how to relate to this, then that, and so on and so on. And the Torah of the Arizal, it's one of the foundations works that we have in Am Israel, that it is accepted. All of Am Israel, all over the world, accepts the writings of the Arizal. Some people will say we cannot understand it, but no one is trying to claim that it's not true. Anyhow, that is something that is very, very important to look at. And for me, that's one of the reasons that I decided to dedicate a big chunk of my time, of my learning time, to go into those writings of the Arizal. And whatever I had the privilege to learn and to teach, I am grateful for that, but I can tell you that it is very, very little of what there is, because within the writings of the Arizal, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and all the time there's new things that's coming up. And specifically when you are involved with applying those teachings for meditations, to make applications for meditations according to those teachings, so then there's like almost no end to the amount of different techniques that can be provided from those teachings. That there's like, it's a big channel of Torah and inspiration. And for me, a big chunk of what I'm doing in the different learnings, different teachings, the writings of the books and so on, is to give over the Torah of the Arizal to the world in a way that I hope that the majority of the people will be able to enjoy it and relate to that with the help of Hashem. Okay, so now that's basically the part that I want to say. If there is questions, I can answer now. No questions? Okay. So I will tell you one more story before we're finishing. There was one time that the Arizal was sitting in a field.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, my thing was off. I didn't realize my button was mute. What I was trying to understand, just so I can understand things, you know how I understand. You say like the neshamot is come down from every generation, but I had a thought. I don't know if it's true or false, but I want to test it when he was talking. That say there's one body, one system, one body, and this neshamot that is so high, that is like a Mashiach neshamot, it is like the wash, right? The head of the tefillin, right? Where things come down and enter the rest of the body. Like you have a brain, and connected to the brain are all the nerves and the systems, but the reality that all the neshamot are one giant neshamot, that we are fragments of what connecting to each other, building this giant body system that we cannot fathom, only Hashem can fathom. And these sadakim who come down, they are coming from the part of the wash, the head, or the higher point where they can receive the intellect and channel it to the rest of the body.
Yeah, I hear what you say. There is definitely. It's true that all the neshamot are creating one spiritual body. If those neshamot that are the neshamot of the Mashiach is only from the head, I'm not sure, because the Arizal told Rabbi Chaim Vital that is coming from the left shoulder, for example. And where exactly the Arizal himself was from, we don't know. But Rabbi Chaim Vital, the Arizal told him that he's coming from the left shoulder. Anyhow, but you definitely have a point.
Well, I don't know. I see this when you're talking.
Yeah. Good. Baruch Hashem. So anyhow, I want to tell you another last story about the way of the teachings, the way that the Arizal was teaching his students. So it says that he was sitting with 10 students in a field close to Tzfat, and he was telling them secrets of the Torah. And in the middle of his teaching, he stopped and he said to the students, I hear a voice that is standing in the heavens and announcing in the following way. The original text is Aramaic, but I will, instead of reading the Aramaic, I will just say it over in English. In the decree of the highest angels, and in the holy teachings, there is a decree that a big locust, a big plague of locusts will come to Tzfat and eat all of the plantation around, and no sustenance will be left to all of the people that are living in Tzfat. Everybody will have starvation. And what's the reason for that? Because there is a poor man that is Talmid Chacham, that his name is Rabbi Yaakov Altratz, that is sitting inside of the city of Tzfat, and is angry and is complaining to Hashem. How come he doesn't have income? How come he doesn't have sustenance? That and Hashem is getting angry, as if, what is the anger of Hashem? We'll leave it for another time. But Hashem, there's a certain judgment that is aroused by that by the complaint of this Talmid Chacham, and because the neighbors are not relating to this person, so therefore there is a complaint, and for that reason comes this decree of the locust that will come. So then the Arizal says, please, my children, my students, let's gather some good present and send it to him, because otherwise maybe the like everybody will die in Tzfat because of this starvation. And immediately they gathered something and they sent it to him, and they found him in his house that he was crying, and they told him, why are you crying? And he said I was crying in front of Hashem because, like, how come that I'm starving, I don't have food, and no one is treating me, no one is helping me, and I had a certain barrel of water that I was able to bring water from the well, and it got broken, so now I don't even have a way to draw water from the well. and they gave him the present that they found, and they were amazed by the ability of the Arizal, that he was able to see exactly what was the decree in heavens and what is the reason for the decree and how to solve it, right? And this is something that we have to know, that is a very, very major thing for the big tzaddikim, that within every generation, to be able to see what is the decrees that are made in heaven and what is the reason for them, how to nullify them. So if we bring the same principle to our days, so we have this virus that is going on. So there is many rabbis that they say this is the reason, that is the reason, this is the reason, all kinds of reasons that different rabbis are saying. But in the end of the day, can someone say that 100%, I heard the voice from heaven that this is the reason, this is how we're going to solve the problem? So I could be, but I didn't hear about someone like that he said something like that with the full responsibility. I will give it. The rabbi that I was learning Kabbalah by him, Rabbi, he said about those different statements of some people. He said, if you're writing a check for someone, if it is without signature, so you don't mind what it says there. You can write $1 million, even though you don't have $1 million, because there's no signature, so it doesn't mean anything. But if you have your signature there, so then you want to make sure that it is the right amount that you want to give. You have to make sure that all the details are true, because otherwise you're making yourself into problem. So Rabbi Chai said it about many people that are saying all kinds of statements, but they don't take the full responsibility over the statements. They say this is the reason, that is the reason, all kinds of different things, but they don't take the responsibility to stand in and like to whatever they say. And this is a big issue that I see in many different areas. Also, this riot thing that is going on, that all kinds of people saying all kinds of things, but they're not backing their statements, and they're not really holding to what themselves are saying in a certain way. Anyhow, that's not the point of the class today. The point was to speak about the praise of the Arizal. So,
how does it connect with the Zohar? Like, do we know that he had a Zohar? Does he reference it in his books?
The vast majority of the teachings of the Arizal is, in a certain way, you can call it a commentary on the Zohar. For me, the way that I'm explaining the connection is the same thing that we have in Pshat, that we have the Mishnayot, and we have the Gemara that explains the Mishnayot. So for me, it's the same thing. The Zohar is like the Mishnayot, and the Gemara of the Zohar is the writings of the Arizal. And then after you have the Mishnayot and you have the Gemara, you have many other commentaries. Shonim, Achronim, Shulchan Aruch, whatever it is, everything is commentaries. But you have to have like the core teachings of the Kabbalah is basically the Zohar and the writings of the Arizal. Obviously, there is many other writings of big HaMekubalim in the previous generation and so on, but the Kabbalah that is taught today in like, if you go to any like serious Yeshivat HaMekubalim that there is, that's the majority of the learning is the Zohar, the writings of the Arizal, and then after that maybe extra commentaries on top of that. Anyhow, we will hold it here, and Bezrat Hashem, I will finish with the big bracha from Yerushalayim, Bezrat Hashem, Kever David HaMelech, that everybody will have their blessings that they need in their life, personal,
Amen.
And also plural for the whole globe, that we will
Amen.
have all the decrees getting solved, and everything will come
Amen.
to a good solutions, that everybody
Amen.
will be able to recognize the kingdom of Hashem and the
Amen.
light of the teachings of the Arizal, and the Neshama of the Arizal will stand for us to have all the salvations that we need, Bezrat Hashem.
Amen.
That will have the privilege to learn and to teach.
Amen.
And to get inspired and to do the meditations of the Arizal, Bezrat Hashem. ברכה והצלחה, and all the
אמן,
blessings.
רצון,
בירושלים.
שאלה.
להתראות.
להתראות, רבי.